Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for this super, super special day and live stream. I am Mary Liz with Cosmic Perspective, and I'm so excited to be joined today by my co-host Felix from the YouTube channel Felix Spacetime. Hi, Felix. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. I'm really excited to help out, and thank you so much for inviting me to be your co-host today.
Absolutely. Actually, I want to first explain that without you, Felix, this happened. So I really, really appreciate you reaching out to TSS and making this special event happen. So please take it away.
Thank you. We've got lots of exciting guests on here today, including Dr. Sian Proctor from Inspiration 4. We've got Jessie Anderson with a pre-recorded video from her from SpaceX. We've got an astronaut in training, Mike Mongo, from Space Plus 5, and of course Kyle and Ryan from TSS.
And don't forget Jasper of Shook that we're excited to bring on soon too. So I think it's going to be an incredible day of just hanging out, talking about our favorite subjects of music and space. Every favorite music, space, test, Starfish. Welcome, Kyle and Ryan, to the stream.
We got skewed in.
I didn't realize. How are you doing, Felix?
Welcome. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
We're doing great. We're in our hangar at the Santa Monica Airport studio, and happy to be here.
Cool. So we've got a few questions for you today throughout the stream, asking you about your new album, Earth Analog. Congratulations on releasing that. We'll start off with our first question. Could you each share a bit about the themes in the album, and what was the inspiration for all these tracks that you've made?
That's a tough question, I guess, sort of. But I think previously the albums we did before was, we titled Music for Space, and it's all about exploring space and the rocket launches of the private enterprise happening. This one, I kind of wanted to go more towards exploring deeper into space, like we called it Earth Analog, meaning a planet that is like Earth that we discover. That's kind of the definition of that term. So an Earth-like planet. And that would be like the ultimate goal, of course, of space travel, to find another inhabitable planet in our solar system or further out. So that's kind of the inspiration of most of the tracks.
The thing I would add,
I believe. Go on.
I was just going to say, I was going to add to that our inspiration comes from all the people in the industry that are making this happen all around the world. So the music was written with the intent, especially in the early days, pre-Music for Space and Music for Space, sort of like reacting to what the engineers were doing and the production people are doing, and witnessing the transition that has been made so that things are picking up in a much higher momentum, and and then following that journey. So that was sort of like real time music writing, and then this is more future forward, I would say.
Right. But inspired by the 80s.
Yeah, a lot of 80s.
I believe we have a question from Mary Liz now about your collaboration.
Sure.
Yes. So we have a track that we collaborated on, and I think it's really cool that the name of the album is Earth Analog, because when we worked on the track Touch Space together, the original melody and idea was conceived while I was on my analog astronaut mission on a Mars analog at high seas. And, I just love that. First of all, I love working with you all. You're my favorite artists anyway. And so it's such an honor to have worked on this track together. But I love that that is so key. So I guess at the forefront of what you do. You all are so great at collaborating. And I just wanted to ask maybe more of a general question. Like, you can talk about your perspective of talking about the track that we worked on together, Touch Space, but also just more broadly, were there any other collaborations on this particular album? And what about you? What about collaborating with other artists inspired you?
Yeah. Are we on?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, the music is what we can offer to collaborate with everybody that's in the space industry in general. It just kind of connects us all together because we all have music interests. And working with you, Mary Liz, has been really cool because, well, you brought in that, the melody and the Ray Bradbury sample, which I think fits right in with, like you said, the Earth Analog theme. And we're getting some good responses on that already.
One of the collaborations beyond that, like, have been pretty organic in that, like, for example, John Shepard is on the album, and he was in a Netflix short called John Was Trying to Contact Aliens, and we really love that film, and we also are filmmakers. And I just reached out, and he reached back and was like, I'd love to do something. And Shook, very much the same way. We were fans, and we're going to get to hear from him a little bit later. It's sort of anybody that shows that interest and inspiration of space and art, really, like, we just want to do something with them. And there's other things. I was even thinking this morning, I was like, we should probably do a collab album where we just like put all the collabs in one place and send it out. That might be, it's not official news, but I think it would be cool because we've got some pretty cool ones that we've got. Yeah, I mean, we did a definitely shout out to Tim Dodd, Everyday Astronaut, who's also a great musician and really doing a lot of great space music. And same type of thing. It was just like, hey, this would be fun if we did this. And he did awesome guitar, something we don't really do that well. And he just slayed it for that Moon track. And that's still a lot of people say that's their favorite track. And that was a single. It's not on this album, but definitely worth checking out.
Well, so, I mean, there's so many musicians out there that are in the industry. You don't even know it until you start talking about it, and then they're like, "Hey, I do this too. I collect synthesizers," or like, what? So yeah, it's cool.
We love to collab.
Yeah. Or remix.
Do you have any like future collabs that you dream about? Laurie Anderson. Is it Laurie Anderson, right?
Laurie Anderson, if you're out there, we've interacted and met her on a few occasions, but that subject did not come up. We actually met her at Moog Fest, and that was really good. We're obviously big Moog fans, but we're open, so anybody can reach out to us, and we'll probably.
Well, as you know, we're collaborating with you and Sian
on a larger project.
So that's a big one.
Yeah, yay. I'm excited to Sian in a bit later to discuss that and go on. It sounds like though we have someone else on the line. I'd like to bring questions for you all. Oh, hey, look who it is.
Did you
It's
guys hear my
Jasper.
move? Did
We
you guys
did.
hear my move? Oh, I
Yeah.
thought my microphone was still off. Hey, that's good.
It was
one way to get into the
authentic.
Look who has the best background.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, well, my sins. Yeah. Hey, it's thank you for inviting me for the show. It's really cool.
I mean,
Yeah,
come
where's-
on, we
tell us where you're
have
from.
to.
Yeah. No, it's cool.
I think we have another question for Kyle and Ryan here. So the album was released, I believe, yesterday. So some people might have listened to it, but for those who haven't got a chance to listen to it yet, how many songs are on the album, and which songs are you most excited about sharing today on the stream?
16.
There's 16 long songs.
Everyone else is out putting out singles, and we're putting out a 16-track album.
Yeah.
I think we're bucking against the grain.
They're all like 6 minutes long, but that's
They're all super long.
I try to write short stuff, but I can't do
just
it.
doesn't, and it takes us forever to do it.
Um,
I know everybody was super patient. We had so many people reaching out and being like, "When is this thing actually coming out?" And I feel like we did that for like a year. So thank you everybody for your patience. It's a process. At least we make it a process. I personally like Floating Worlds a lot and Unicorns in Space. I think those are two that I've really enjoyed a lot. But someone tweeted out today they liked Red Dirt Road.
Yeah, that reminds me too. Our good friend Michael Culpepper.
Yes.
Right, so a lot of the Evo guitar, kind of like the dreamy, spacey, reverby stuff. And funny enough, he's been good old high school friend from Kyle. From, I don't know.
I've been making music with Michael since I was in the 8th grade, which is 300 years ago.
He's a big space enthusiast and just
shout out Michael Culpepper.
He just will send me stuff randomly. It's like just squeeze this into a song or make a song out of it. So a lot of times I start with his just ambient guitar stuff and work around that and chop it up, and then we'll kind of go back and forth. But
he lives in Seattle area in Washington, and he'll get inspired at night and send us 40 minutes worth of guitar, and then that will inspire us, and then we just kind of. And sometimes it's the reverse, but it's just sort of like we'll wake up to an email with a link for a whole bunch of stuff, and then we'll go in the studio and just work with it.
He helped us a great deal on the Music for Space Sleep album.
Yeah.
Which is all ambient. So that was a big help. I don't know if he's listening. I don't
know.
But yeah.
I absolutely love that album. Sorry, Felix, if you want to ask another question, go for it. I just want to say I love Music for Sleep. Big fan. But while I have your attention, I will ask another question. I am curious because you just mentioned it, that, Kyle, you've been working with him for 300 years, I think you said. But what about both you and Ryan? How long have you been making music, and has it always been kind of centered around this theme of space and futurism, or not?
It's always been electronic. We started making music in 1999. And then we took a little break. We've taken many breaks, but we never stopped. We never said we weren't going to ever do it again or anything. And then it really picked up. As the space industry picked up, the music picked up. It took us, I'd say, 10 years, to find the audience. It's like we always just made the music for ourselves, like stuff that we liked. We weren't trying to follow a trend or make a hit, and like obviously no vocals. It's like it was a challenge, but there's a certain subsection of the human beings that like that kind of ambient, and not always ambient, but just instrumental stuff and some layered vocals and other things. We're not against that, but I don't think that's a strong suit for us. That I hope I answered the question.
Yeah, I sing on some little things, but I think it's always been space related, just subconsciously until recently. But even I was showing Mary Liz a month ago or a few weeks ago that old video that we never released. And I was surprised, I think we're both surprised at how space heavy themed it was. Just because the music lends itself to that, I think.
Yeah, we also have a habit of making entire music videos and then never releasing them.
And albums, yeah.
And albums.
The
We have
entire
another-
album that's
we have
mixed
tons
into
of
surround
music.
sound. It's
There's
never
tons of stuff that's.
I am planning on releasing it.
Not today. Today you are releasing this album. I want to bring Felix back in because I know he's been really eager to have this discussion with you all. Felix, do you have more questions about the album?
Uh-oh, he's muted.
Oh no, is that better?
There you go.
Yes, so kind of a big part of kind of test shot Starfish is kind of the artwork and everything, and the album covers. We love your new album cover, and can you describe the inspiration for the artwork for this album cover, Ryan?
Yeah, well, I'm a graphics artist before a musician, I guess. But I kind of started doing music just because it was the same process as doing the album, the montage kind of artwork that I do. So yeah, so I've been doing that forever, doing paintings that way. They're all over the studio here. I make music the same way. So this album cover is just layers upon layers of different things that I scan in or find, or a lot of it's 3D modeling, a little astronaut in the rocks, and been experimenting with that, trying to learn that more. So this was an experiment. It turned out pretty cool. So I was like, hey, let's use it for the album cover and maybe make a NFT out of it. So I think we did that.
No.
Maybe not. But yeah, so that's kind of a big thing too, is the whole NFT and that world we're diving into.
Metaverse, more
metaverse,
so. Yeah. We're looking to maybe do some performances in the metaverses in the future and things too, because that's a great way. It's a great medium to blend interactive with visual and sound. And I have to say, what we've got today is a visual album that Ryan put together while I was incredibly busy, and it's awesome. So, like, as we go through this, when we wrap up all the interview bits and stuff, we're going to play the album from beginning all the way to end with visuals. So you can just go full screen, put it on, and go back to work or whatever you're doing on this fine Saturday, or go back and watch it later. You know, but it's. I was impressed, and I have to say I had absolutely nothing to do with that, and I thought it was going to take forever. And I came in and I was like, oh, it's done, and it's great. I think everyone is in for a real treat at the end of this.
Well, that's one thing we like to do, is just make music for not necessarily just for the background, but people say we like to work to it. We have lots of engineers that come to us and say we play it at the office building rocket parts all the time.
Yeah, the ESA, awesome. Somebody from the ESA reached out and said that they play it while they're working on the rover. I was like, you got to be kidding me. And we sent them like a big poster or something. They'd asked for something like that, so we sent it over to them, and I just thought that was super cool.
That's amazing. I can't wait till the end because honestly, I haven't listened to. You gave me the SoundCloud link, and I've listened to the album, but I haven't like just sat, doing the proper album. All I'm doing is immersing myself in the songs. So I'm excited today to make it my first time to just sit down and not only get the audio, but the beautiful visuals. I remember the day that you finished the visuals, Ryan, and Kyle was like, you guys are going to be blown away by this. This is amazing.
We're kind of random. So,
yeah, well, I mean, even just the countdown, I was surprised by that. Like, I just wanted to hang out and stick with the countdown graphics and music. That was awesome. So, Felix,
that music was from the 90s.
Oh my gosh!
Oh, really?
I need something really long and like a long, spacey track, and that's. So I just pulled something that was like from an old MS-2000 old synthesizer, just messing around.
That's from the Deep catalog.
Oh my gosh, it's that's
awesome.
I just threw it on there like, hey, this kind of work.
I have to say, Felix, I wish you would have been there. But I was just recently with Dr. Sian Proctor again for another art robot ranch, which is Kyle and Ryan's awesome and obviously could amazing meal. Also had a stack of hard drives that he was going through. And in this amazing stack of hard drives is basically the entire history of like space flight from the wild, times when it was just kind of beginning. And I just every time you talk about your hard drives, my mind is blown. Like I know what's in there. By the way,
Yeah,
is my connection a little spotty, or am I coming through
Yeah,
clear?
a little bit.
a little bit.
Yeah, all that
Alright.
stuff is a big
Yeah.
inspiration. All those, guys building rockets out in the desert, just going rogue and doing whatever they want to do. There's no rules.
A lot of experimentation.
Yeah, that's come a long way since then. I mean, now we've got crazy.
I think
Well,
we
so I
have
think
another question.
go for it, Felix.
I think we have another question for Ryan. Can you describe how you create these amazing pieces of these artwork, these albums, kind of from the drawing board to actually releasing them as an album cover?
The art, you're saying?
Mhm.
Yeah, I do it kind of like the same way, like I said before, music is where I start with just one. If I see something, a texture or something I like, I usually just start with that, or even if it's a video or a moving image, I can grab something from that. And then I'll start that way, and I will sometimes paint it on canvas first, and then I'll print on like clear, like a decal, I guess. And you slide the decals on, you paint on top of that, and you just keep your layers and layers and layers, and stuff you don't like, you rip it off, you start over. That's how a lot of this stuff happens, and you keep scanning it in. And then eventually you get something you're happy with, and that's what I use. But a lot of it is actually on canvas. It's just little scans. So there's actually like a physical, non-digital piece at the end of it. And I've been doing a lot of artwork with Sian too, which we can talk about a little bit. But does that make sense?
Wonderful. Yeah, I've seen some of the artwork. It's absolutely amazing, and keep doing what you're doing with the artwork. Can't wait to see what comes next. I think we've got another question from Mary Liz now.
Yeah, actually, I was thinking that I am super inspired by a certain musician that I know has really inspired you all. And you've worked with Jasper, with Shook, many, many times, I think, at this point. You've done an amazing collaboration together. I was thinking that it would be awesome to kind of listen to a piece of a song that you've collaborated on recently, which I think people might recognize if they listen closely. And then I'd love to have a discussion with him, bring him in and talk about what that collaboration was like.
Hey, Shook.
Hey, Shook.
Hey, I know that song. Yeah. Oh man, that's so cool to see the artwork again. By the way, that Ryan did, right? Yeah, Ryan, you did
Yeah.
the artwork. I
Yeah.
love it.
I found that paper from the 70s. I bought it on eBay. Scanned that in.
Really?
Like that paper.
Is it like, did you compile like the images, or did you
Yeah.
like found,
First scans
because
from all different.
that one on the left looks really 70s. Is everything
They're
from
all from
that paper?
magazines from the 70s. Like when we were doing the
Right.
movie, the documentary, which the song is from, I had collected a ton of magazines from the 70s.
Yeah,
to
I've seen that.
use for the movie.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of the
Yeah,
stuff is.
I was already trying to figure out where all the images came from, because there's so many old footage and so many old images, but they are actually found by you.
Yeah. Like
Like,
a lot of the little details, like the synthesizers and stuff on there. That's from
hmm
old
Books,
manuals
manuals.
for old
wow.
Korg and Moog synthesizers from the 70s and 80s. just weird stuff that like are cool schematics and you know.
Yeah, and I like that it's on like a little notepad, so it's almost like as if someone draw that in with a pencil or something at school, dreaming
Yeah,
away.
exactly. You're right.
That's cool.
The whole song kind of
Yeah,
had a 70s vibe to it that fit the documentary perfectly.
yeah, that's so much fun making that song with you guys. We haven't.
It
When
was.
was the last time? That was the last time we spoke, actually, and now we're speaking again when it's live.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
maybe.
To
Whoa!
the world.
Yeah, we are
Shook,
reconnecting in the stream.
Shook, I was actually wondering, the weirdest thing happened where Ryan and I were so excited to use one of your songs in one of our Road to Mars videos. And then I just happened to notice that Kyle and Ryan were also working with you. That was a coincidence, which is
Or not.
bonkers.
Yeah,
That's so weird.
And like how cool, like, because I don't know, it just seemed like you existed in this other world, but somehow we both
hmm
found you, or you found us. And I thought it would be cool to find out how you got connected to Kyle and Ryan in the first place. How did this come about?
How how did we connect, Kyle, Ryan?
I think it was
I'm trying to
film.
remember.
It was for the film. There were tracks that we
hmm
were fans and we wanted to use some tracks for the High Frontier movie. Reached out to do like a license for the film, and then through that process and communication, we were like, "Hey, wouldn't it be cool if we did something original?" And you said
hmm
yes, and then we now have Island 3 as a result.
Yeah, because I at first I didn't know that you guys. You told me like we are also artists. We are also making music, and then I dove into you guys' discography and was like, whoa, why don't we just do something together too? I mean, that's cool. Like,
Yeah, we were talking the other day. Like, I think eventually there'll be a super group. We'll have to have like a super group
yeah,
yes,
formation at some point down the
we,
line.
we probably have to get our own spaceship and then build a
Yes,
Yes,
studio.
yes, again.
Starship.
You know, that's the
these are all
dream,
great
right?
ideas. These are all great ideas.
I could bring some. I could bring like two or three synthesizers, and you could bring like the rest.
Yeah, and you're in the Netherlands, right?
Sorry.
Where are you in the world? You're in the Netherlands, right?
Yeah, I'm the
Or are you?
Netherlands. Yeah, it's nighttime
Oh,
there here. What time is it there here?
It's like
Is it
noon,
what time is it
almost
there?
noon on the West Coast
Oh,
in
so you still
California.
have the sun.
We do.
Yeah.
Oh, nice, nice. Well, I have the moon now, so
actually, you
What's
know what?
for you?
what? Who's talking?
You go
Yeah, no, I was
first.
just saying, what do you have coming up, like musically?
Uh, musically, I don't know. Like a lot
Well,
of things.
you're
I'm
releasing an amazing vinyl right now.
Yeah,
That's
that's
what I
it.
was going to
That's
ask
it.
about. Come on.
That's what I want to promote. Yeah.
Listen,
Do it.
listen, I want to say this. I am a proud patron of Shooks. He's actually like I love Patreon, but Shook has the best behind the scenes videos and beautiful little gifts for all of his patrons. And I'm so excited I get to put my little artist name Anu on the back of your record. I mean,
Yeah.
let's talk about that record, the cover of the record, and the story behind that, because that is pretty wild.
Yeah, well, it's inspired by it's a re-release from an album that I did 10 years ago, and the album was I don't know, it was online, and suddenly I got an email from an astronaut, from Christina Koch from NASA, and at first I was like, okay, this is probably spam or something, but she reached out and she told me that she was from NASA, and she told me this story that she learned a song of mine in space while she was at ISS, and that she played it for her husband who was on Earth, and it was for her anniversary, and um, and it was a song from that first album. So you know, it blew my mind when I read that email, and yeah, I had contact with her ever since, and I really wanted to tell this story, and through the fans, and make it something, make it extra special. So I re-released the album, and I made artwork which was inspired by Christina Koch and her story. So we drew basically Christina Koch in space inside the ESS, that she's playing like in space the song, and yeah, so that's what I'm working on right now, and I'm in the middle of the production right now, and it's really exciting.
That's
I mean,
awesome.
how wild that all of these space people, and astronaut, and Kyle and Ryan, and me and Ryan, my Ryan, like how we all found you and were so inspired by your music. Have you ever stopped to think about that crazy fact?
Yeah, it's super special. I mean, how I don't know. It's weird, right? I mean, it's like yeah, it's like some kind of connection is, I don't know. It's just I can't describe it. It's
Universe.
just so
Yeah.
truly special. Yeah, and I mean that's what I thought, because I was watching the documentary again today about space exploration from the movie that we did the soundtrack for with O'Neill, the High Frontier.
Yeah.
It was talking about that there are no borders and stuff like that, and and you were talking about you mentioned the overview effect, and I just think that's so inspiring, and I just hope that somewhere inside the music, that this inspiration will continue in the art. So
Absolutely.
That is that's what it's all about. Well, Shook, thank you so much for joining us. Kyle and Ryan, do you have anything else that you want to say about this or
Just the
collaboration
last
before we
thing
move on?
I want to say is just thank you, and we appreciate your lending your talents to not only the film but to this single, and we're really looking forward to the future for whatever else we all decide to co-create. And I think that
definitely.
it's always it was such a pleasure to do that, and then to see it out in the wild and people enjoying it is always a special thing for all of us.
Yeah. Thanks, Chuck.
Yeah,
Yeah,
More to
well,
I
come.
actually,
thank you guys.
now that you mentioned that, though, I do want to shout out to Nick and Sweeney, who is in the chats right now. He took Island 3 and was
Oh
listening
yeah,
to it while
Oh
standing
yeah,
in
Yeah.
front of the
yeah,
Starship Rocket
that
Garden.
was
Oh
cool.
my
That was
goodness.
so cool.
yeah.
Very
Kyle
meta.
sent me that picture, and I was like, "What? How?
So
Crazy!
cool.
So cool.
Absolutely
Well,
amazing."
my goal is for all of y'all to come down to where I live near Boca Chica, and we'll just recreate that live. You
Okay.
know,
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Deal.
should do that.
just sounds like a good
Definitely.
idea.
I think
I
it's a good
think
deal.
so.
Well,
Awesome.
thanks,
Well,
Chuck.
good
We
good
appreciate
luck.
it.
Well,
Congrats
thank
on the
you.
release.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chuck. I'll
Bye
talk to you
bye.
soon. Bye.
Yeah, talk soon. Bye.
Awesome. Hey, Felix, you're back. All right, now we have a special guest that I'd like to check and see if he's available. Mr. Mongo, is he on the line?
I'm here.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah. Hey, Mike.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey, my people! Greetings and salutations!
Your
How are
glasses
you?
look really different today.
Congratulations on the record release! Oh my gosh!
Thank you. Thank you. What are your favorites today?
Today.
On the album.
Yeah.
Okay, so So I'm all about the bangers. You know that, right? Like because I was such a big fan of New Astronauts, and I have pestered you both about that incessantly because I think that track, that single that you released last year, deserves bigger attention. So which do you I just asked out of curiosity, which do you think is my favorite?
I have to think
Well,
about
right
it.
now, and you also, by the way, everyone, like they know this because I get to talk with Kyle and Ryan about this. I'll track that I like and I'll just mine it. I mean, I'll just play it and I'll play it and I'll play it because that's how it tracks. For me, music it captures this moment and like right now I've just been selected to be. Oh, by the way, I've been selected to be a Space Plus astronaut, and we're working on Nouns Plus 5, so that's why I'm working on the Space Plus Nouns. And so I got my Going to Space Future Astronaut shirt on.
I see that.
Oh,
Like
hey!
Right away.
Very
cool. Special for the occasion. Yeah,
oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, isn't it beautiful? That's a great shirt, right?
Made that shirt.
It's got the logo right here.
There you go. Going to space.
That's from your website.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And so you know, I really do want to pursue this line of questioning about which track you all think that is my favorite. But before we go there, I want to point out that you all are like Test Shot Starfish. The Test Shot Starfish is probably the most popular unknown group in the world, I would say. Like it's ridiculous because facts. It really is the truth. Because I will play tracks of your music and people are like, "Oh, I know this song." I'm like, "Have you ever watched a SpaceX launch?" And of course people watch SpaceX launches. And if you watch the SpaceX launch in like at least the last 5 years, like any SpaceX launch, you will have heard Test Shot Starfish. It's like the soundtrack of our lives. And people are like, people have no idea that this music that we have this emotional connection with because we get so excited when we see the success of SpaceX is Test Shot Starfish. And I'm super happy to be here. And I'm also really proud of you all putting together this event because people get to know. Like I showed you last year that my top track that I played in my entire Spotify playlist was New Astronauts.
Nice.
And
that's awesome.
Yeah. So which do you think it's going to be this year?
Well, I don't know. The album kind of gets fancier.
Have you listened to the album?
Yes.
I sure hope so.
Have they?
Okay, cool. All right, cool.
I'm gonna.
I like Syzygy. You know what that one is?
Syzygy.
That's kind of like that term means two planets lining up together. But that one is like a really, funny one, I guess.
Or my guess, maybe Planet Hunters.
Oh gosh, really? Neither of you guys got it.
Okay, what is it?
Red Dirt Road.
Oh,
okay. That somebody else tweeted that out today too. It said Red Dirt Road was the one.
Who's Michael?
It's hard. We have a different perspective, so it's really hard for us.
That's kind of our darker song actually on the album, I think.
It's
people like it. Yeah, that's what
the Alien song is the darker song. Like that's
that's the
one we did with
John Shepard from John Was Trying to Contact Aliens.
Yeah.
Just a fun fact, Mike, I don't know if you know this, but Ryan might be an Alien fan. Just little tidbit fun fact.
So I want you to know, Mary Liz, that Ryan is a massive 2001 fan.
No, I am.
Well, that's why you two are friends, because I think
yes.
I think he has the full astronaut suit, if I recall correctly, the 2001 astronaut suit. If he doesn't,
I did not know that.
If he doesn't know it, he has it in mind. All right. And wait, who's this little guy from the UK? This young person right here, like
that is Felix Spacetime, who is responsible for this broadcast.
Look, Felix is famous, and here's the funny thing. So everybody been talking to me about Felix. This happened. Like Sian Proctor and I were just talking about Felix like last week. Kyle, you and I were talking about Felix, and then Sian was like, "Oh my God, you got to talk to Felix. You're gonna love Felix. And then I was like, okay. So then I looked, and Felix knows this. I saw that you had Felix had messaged, and I had, I get a lot of DMs, as we all do, and I hadn't seen the mess. It had slipped past, and so I was like, oh my gosh. No, the Noggles let me see clear.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
And so I messaged Felix, and we're setting up a Space Plus 5 interview. Like he wants to do an interview with the entire team, and I thought that was bold. First of all, that's a lot. That's juggling a lot of balls at once. Good for them. Good for you, Felix. And we posed that we do it at the on the October 22nd upcoming launch. Like we're doing our zero G training. Everybody's going to be there, and so then that's going to be amazing. So like we're coordinating that, Felix. I hope you're excited about this. You sponsored this. You made this happen, Felix. I know you're being quiet over there, but I see you as a human being person. Just so you know, you're not off the hook.
Well, everyone's quiet compared to Mongo.
Y'all, like this is it's great to be here because hey, people don't know that Kyle and I and Ryan co-created Muttniks and the Muttniks NFTs, and I got this week. I don't know if you know Supercluster. I know, yeah, of course you do. And Supercluster had a patch that just came out this week that I just got. So Muttniks was about the first dogs that went to space. And a lot of the videos about the NFTs we created used Test Shot Starfish in the soundtrack, which is great. But I got this from Supercluster.
Oh, wow. That is cool.
And you know what this is going on? This is going on my launch jacket, my Space Plus launch jacket. I mean, we've got the Space Plus 3 jackets, my crew jacket. Yeah, so I'm very thanks so Supercluster. Cool. Yeah, this is great.
Well, it's so important that we honor the canines that flew before us, I think.
Yeah, they led the way for human beings in space, and we get to solve all the challenges we face on Earth by solving for space. We wouldn't be there without these dogs. And
exactly.
And on my upcoming space mission with Space Plus 5, we're playing this album in the capsule. You know that, right? Like I know that we're like the conversation we're having is with a non-SpaceX company, and nonetheless, we will be playing Test Shot Starfish on our ride to space. Pow, pow, pow.
That's great.
That's what it's for.
Cool. Well, good luck, and any way I can support Test Shot Starfish. Yeah, count me in.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and thanks Mary Liz. Thanks, Felix. Nice to meet you in person. First time, Felix.
Yeah, I can't wait for our interview in a few weeks.
I know,
Thank
right?
You.
Pow, pow, pow.
What do we got next?
I don't know.
Next up, we have a very special message coming in from one Jen that I believe we will queue up here.
What's up? This is Jessie Anderson. I just want to give a huge shout out and congratulations to Test Shot Starfish on the launch of your new album, Earth Analog. I am such a huge fan and I cannot wait to jam. Congratulations.
Awesome.
Nice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jessie. So Felix, I think you can take the reins. I think Mary Liz messaged me said that her internet is taking a dive.
Yeah, so I think we have I don't think we have any more questions lined up, but kind of with your album. Pardon?
Is there any from?
Oh yes, we've got some
YouTube?
From the live stream, haven't we? While we wait, so we've got a question from the live stream. So where did the name Test Shot Starfish or TSS come from?
That's a great
We
question.
always get asked that.
So
Kyle explains it better than
I think I do. I do. So when we started this project, as everyone knows, if you're starting up any kind of art project or anything, like finding a moniker or something that isn't super derivative of something else or has a weird meaning or a close to meaning that's something that doesn't align with what you're thinking about. We searched for a very long time for a name for this project, and we're reading about satellite stuff from like the 60s and 70s, and there was nuclear testing over the Johnston Islands, and they had like test shot dolphin and test shot starfish, and there were different things, and really it's sort of a Bauhaus style thing where it's like the test shot starfish, it was Starfish Prime, and it was in 1964 off of the Johnston Islands, and so they fired that off, and it actually was such a large detonation that it introduced the world to EMP, which is the electromagnetic pulse. Like we didn't even know what that was until that happened. It knocked out satellites. It knocked out all power in Hawaii. It was like an event. Who knows what it did to sea life? So we were sort of reclaiming that name to sort of not let that be swept under the carpet historically, but just be like, this isn't exactly the way to use technology. That's not, that's taking it too far in the wrong direction. So it was like a redirect of that, which is now what we're seeing today, which is much more thoughtful use of space exploration and things like that. So test shot starfish, which is hard to say. Ryan hates it. But when you build something over 2 decades, it's like it's kind of it. So we're TSS is fine. We sort of rebranded for this album. It works easily. So it's like if you know. But that's the answer. And really, the reason is like that URL is available, that Twitter handle is available. Like, all those things are available. You don't have to go fight for them because who even knew what that was?
Names are hard.
Names are hard.
Even naming songs.
Songs are hard.
You start a song and that's the first thing you have to do to save the project. You just name it. So it's always hard to go back and name it like the date and new song today. Because later on you have to go back and change the name. And you have to relink all the files because the computer doesn't know where what the folder is. So I've got a big running list of names, and I'll have to start a song like, oh shoot, what am I call it? That's why a lot of songs have random space names.
Wonderful. I think we've lost connection with Mary Liz. But
That's
I don't
okay.
want to end it yet. Oh, she's back.
Aha! I see.
No.
She might have
Yeah,
another
so
person.
the reason that I suddenly look like I'm in a different environment and strange, and hopefully my connection is better, is because I am in a space with a one special astronaut who was also on this same live stream. So we realized we had 2 connections going up, and I thought it would be easier if I just kind of went upstairs and come on in the frame here. And Dr. Sian Proctor is joining us from here.
Hey everyone. I can't hear
Hello.
anybody though.
GM.
Now you can.
Hi, how's it going?
Good.
Awesome to see you at your place. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's great to be here, and just I'm so excited about the new album being dropped. And hi, Felix.
Hello.
So
I
you
think
guys,
yeah. You go on.
No, I was just gonna say we've all been waiting. Finally.
Yeah, it's taking a while. I know.
And we get to have the preview of a visual album, which is coming up. Sian will be your first time to see it.
Oh yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, we were talking earlier with Mary Liz about collaborating with all the different artists, and now you're part of the super group too.
Yeah, sampling in with some poetic rhyming. Some good timing with some poetic rhyming.
Oh, that was fast. That was really good. So I think it would be fun to talk a little bit more about how you've been collaborating with Kyle and Ryan quite a bit over the last couple of years, right?
Yeah, so it's been actually really great in that um, I met them through Yuri's night, and then one day when I was at SpaceX training, I think me and Kyle like ran into each other. I'm like, "What are you doing here?" And Kyle's like, "What are you doing?" No, he was like, "I've been working here for like a decade." And that was really funny. And then we realized we had all this in common. And I was preparing for flight as an artist and a poet. And these guys are amazing artists. And so I decided that not only would I work with them to bring NFTs to space, the Mutniks, and create art, do stuff for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, a fundraiser with them, but also to do my artist in residence, my first year artist in residence with them, and it's been an amazing year together.
When you also took music for Space Sleep with you.
Yeah,
I did take music for space with me. Yeah, and it was great because it was funny because I would listen to it right before I would go to bed, and then I remember that I would fall asleep actually pretty quickly, like right away. And so, and so it was pretty funny that a lot, because people always ask me, did I dream? Did I, when I was in space? And I would wake up in the middle of the night with spatial disorientation because you're floating. Like, wait, where am I? What's going on here? And so that was pretty funny. But I love the new album, and so I want you to. Can you guess which is my favorite song?
Oh, this is the second time we've had this question, and it's a really difficult one because we have a
It
1 in
really
16
is.
chance of floating worlds.
No. I really love. Well, there's two that I like. You could probably get. I also like names of songs too, but "A Dream" and "Zero G," right?
Okay.
Because that was the connection from before, and then "Touch Space," which is with Anu. Yeah. So I think that's. But I mean, the whole album's awesome. And of course the artwork and being able to bring Ryan's artwork to space with me and collaborating with him whenever I'm visiting you guys and thinking about creating art. Huh?
In a year, I can't believe it. Since
I know, I can't believe it either. And so I'm always so inspired by not just you guys as artists and musicians, but just the energy you bring whenever we're hanging out or doing things together. It's just so much fun. And so we just need to figure out how to hang out more often.
Yeah. Well, now we've roped in Mary Liz to do music as well with you. So
yeah, and so that's one of the cool things. Mary Liz is here. We're like super close because the screen is so skinny. But yeah,
we're used to it. Like our lives. Yeah. We basically live in a capsule.
But now, we are performing together, Mary Liz and I, and you've been helping collaborate on that. And the project's moving forward, and that's just so exciting because what I realize is, I went to space and came back with my crew. And then when I think about my artist career and the things I want to do, I was like, oh my goodness, I got to find my crew. Who is my art community crew? And then of course now I've begun assembling it with you guys as the first two, and then Anu, and then of course Mike is in there, Mike Mongo, who we just chatted with, along with all of these other artists that I'm starting to get to know and expand, my bubble here. But crew.
It all started at Robot Ranch.
Robot Ranch, yeah.
Yes. Yep. So for those of you who have not had the pleasure of experiencing Kyle and Ryan's beautiful, beautiful home, it is full of Moogs. It's like the Moog factory.
and aliens.
And aliens.
And beautiful artwork on the wall and just inspiring space. That and the studio, of course, in Santa Monica, just such an inspirational space to be in and play in and create in. And that's one of the things that I think a lot of people don't know. And being on this live stream, they get to hear, how much love all the artists that have been brought on have for you guys, and the way who you are and how you operate, your creativity and your spirit.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Thank
you
you.
so
Well,
much.
thank you. As always, it's fun to collaborate, as we were talking about earlier, and it's a dream realized to have some of our work taken to space and actually listened to in space. Just that fact alone makes it all worthwhile. And we so appreciate that, and are still looking forward. There's a lot of things that we'll announce coming up that we're all doing together that I think is going to be like a very nice next chapter.
I can't wait. And I feel like you guys' music is gonna have a long history in space. Not just lifting off, but with the advancement of human spaceflight and where it's going, there's all kinds of stuff that's good. That's exciting.
Absolutely.
Cool. Yeah. The train has left the station.
Bye. Have a great day.
Bye.
That's awesome.
I'm just gonna slide out. I'm gonna robot out.
All right, thanks for being patient while my internet access was a little wonky, but here I am in Sian's beautiful art studio, so hopefully this is much better. Welcome back, Felix. How are you?
Hello, I'm good, yeah.
Good. Hey, did you see Felix? I think there's another question from the folks online. Did you see that? Would you like to ask that question?
Was it the one about how they chose the name?
No, I think that might have been answered already in conversation, but
Yeah.
I believe Nick Sweeney, I just saw it in passing, has a cool question about
Oh, yes.
what they were just kind of discussing.
Yeah, so this question's for both of Ryan and you. What's next for you and for TSS and Test Shot Starfish?
Sleep, hopefully.
Some things we probably can't even talk about, but
there's a few. But I mean, we have every intention to keep making stuff, and I think we always welcome feedback. And I'd like to do some more singles and shorter form releases so we can get them out faster. And I think we were talking a little bit about we're very interested in the metaverse because it sort of blends our love of gaming, music, visuals, performance, all these things. So we're building some things around that I think will be kind of fun. And that whole thing is emerging. It's not quite there yet, but it will be in the future. So we always like to be future forward.
Yeah, I think developing the live aspect is something we haven't really done
in a while
on a big scale before. So even Mary Liz is helping us with that now. When she's coming out to visit us, we've been working on ideas for collaborating on a live performance. Not necessarily in different kinds of venues, more artistic venues than just standard clubs.
Yeah, I mean, in the past we've done shows with Tycho in LA at the LA Arboretum, and it was centered around sustainability. And we worked with LA County, and we did these big things with KCRW, and it was a large undertaking that took months to put together for one night of a performance. And that's always historically kind of been our thing, because we're not trying to be the hardest performers out there hitting the road and all that stuff. We really want to do special things as they make sense. And we have some of that stuff coming up even, as we go along, and those things will be revealed. But a tour, I don't know. May never happen.
Well, a lot of it's visual too, as we were talking about earlier. So I have to create visuals and videos. So that's the second part to the music aspect of it. Figuring all that out, and that takes time, but we're getting there for sure. Lots of new things coming up.
I'm always amazed by how much you all create and do. I don't really understand how you make it work. But every time I go, they keep mentioning when I go to their house. Like I've been there a few times now, and I'm always just flabbergasted by the amount of beautiful unreleased material they're sitting on, and just like unreleased ideas. You know, that these ideas that we're talking about now and we're planning for. So we'll have some really cool announcements that we'll definitely be sharing here and elsewhere with our community, about the live shows that we're putting together to really help translate that amazing spaceflight experience to the world through music. I actually saw a question related to this, that our moderator sent us from Marianne Witt Lubbers. She asked Kyle and Ryan, do you think your music will change after you've been to space? Have you gone through that thought experiment yet?
That is a great question.
Yeah, I haven't thought of that actually, but I would imagine, yeah, I'm sure it would.
I would like to make it in space somehow.
Like
create it in space and then bring
yeah. Well, that was bring up Sian, Dr. Sian Proctor. I think her poetry obviously has changed since she's been to space. It changes you. The whole overview effect thing, which Mary Liz is
It's a very interesting question. How does the overview effect translate into audio? I guess we have to find out. That's a great question. I would think it would, but I don't know what that would be because we haven't done it yet. But we're up for it. So if anybody wants to send us to space, we're game.
I love experimental music. So, that lends itself to ambient and ambient.
Felix, do you have any other questions for them before we just go ahead and immerse ourselves in this awesome album?
I don't think. I mean, if anyone who's watching has any questions for us, if you put them in the chat now, and we'll try our best before the end to answer them all. But from what we've written down, no, there's not really any more questions. Do you have any more to ask them?
I just want to say thank you for having the just seeing this through to putting it together. We really appreciate it. I'm so happy that we all got connected and that you stuck with it. And we're not easy to wrangle, so it got done. So props to you for making it happen. And Mary Liz, thanks for co-hosting.
And you're in London, right?
Yeah, I'm near London. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we have worldwide with Amsterdam.
We had Amsterdam, London,
Florida,
the Cape.
Yeah.
And then California and Arizona. So we got
awesome
all over.
Covering the globe. Awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much for letting us do this, for letting everybody gather. I think I speak for a lot of people when I say that, it's kind of surreal to be your friend now and to know the personalities behind TSS. Don't shake your head, just listen and take it. I'm a huge fan. I've been a huge fan for a long time, and I was just talking to my Ryan the other day about how surreal it is that, we're doing this, because just 2 years ago, I remember thinking, God, I wish I could just hang out with TSS and talk to them about their beautiful music and learn, their method behind that. And it's been cool to see behind the scenes, but I've been really eager to share that with the rest of the world because you have so many fans that just don't know. They don't get to see you very often. They don't get to interface with you often. So this is kind of a special day where we've all been able to come together and learn a little bit more about Kyle and Ryan, which is a super treat. So thanks for doing it.
Well, absolutely. And one last shout out to Tim Dodd, Everyday Astronaut. We've been there with him from the humble beginnings, and it's been fun to watch everybody from those days up to today where it's all grown, and it's really a group effort. I mean, we're here as a piece of the puzzle, where it's about how all of that stuff culminates together and how we all as humans move everything forward. And that's really what it's about for us, and that being inspired and inspiring in both channels, but really it's where we all want to see humanity go. And we so appreciate everyone in the community, Mike Mongo, Dr. Sian Proctor, Shook, everybody that just loves us. We're all here for the same reason, and we appreciate the opportunity to get to share all this with you.
Yeah, thanks for streaming, Cosmic Perspective.
Yes, thanks to Cosmic.
It just
a hat tip to your Ryan as well too for making that all go.
fits in
Thank
perfectly
you,
with
Ryan.
that.
Well, we have something very special now, so be ready to go full screen. It's not time to tune out. It's time to actually tune in. You're like, okay, good. They're going to shut up now and like actually get to the goods. So, Felix, do you want to intro the whole album? Go for it.
Yeah, so thank you so much to kind of to you, Mary Liz, and to both Ryan and Kyle for for choosing me to co-host this today. Would you like me to read out all the songs from the album?
If you like, you're about to hear them.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we have I think it was 16 tracks, I believe. So the album's called Earth Analog. We've got the first piece of music is Neon Sky, Floating Worlds, A Dream in Zero G, Touch Space, A Clear Day, Unicorns in Space, Trying to Reach Aliens, Red Dirt Road, Planet Hunters, An Earth Analog, Starlinks. I'm probably going to say this wrong. How do you say number?
Syzygy.
Yeah.
It's a weird word, I know.
Yeah. Polymoon, Lunar Lope, and Constelation. And I think you have some amazing visuals to show while we listen through the rest of the album.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you all for watching.
Right.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Enjoy.
Thanks, Felix. Thanks, Kyle and Ryan. Enjoy.